Right, X30 Junior qualifying heat A versus C, the penultimate junior race of the day. William McIntyre and Leo Robinson from the front row of the starting grid. Finn McLaughlin and Kimi Abraham on the second. Sebastian Murray and Ivan Arias. And then Eric Genet and Clement Outram to round out the top 10. Gabriel Stilp and Arthur Paulain. Then Augustin Bernier and Thibaut Ramakes. Aaron Ferrazzano and Alexis Constant. Then Julian Carmen and Noah Montero from Babu Matisse and Ethan Ischer. Angelo Meni and Aidan Hassan from Rima Blanc and Patrice Kovalevsky, Ben Doughty, Francisco Costa and Brandon Templeton to round out the 25 grid.
8 laps to go in this junior race A against C. McIntyre, Robinson, that's your front row of the grid. Couple of wins for both of them so far into this weekend, as we're going to keep a close eye on what's going to happen. As we said, this is the penultimate qualifying heat of the weekend for the junior category, as things are getting even more tense than before, because there's no more room for mistake, no more room for lost points, lost ground, and lost potential good results. So each of those drivers will be keen to go through this qualifying heat in the safest mode possible and try to extract the best out of themselves and out of the material. But of course, that's the theory, and the more we're building up to the end of the weekend, the more those drivers want to be able to perform and keep that learning and progressing curve on the high. But that's, of course, always easier said than done. And as I was chatting with Eddie Goldstein just before from the senior category, and he was admitting actually what we suggested earlier, Jay, that they haven't been able so far to find the pace that they had last year as well and the years before at such a level on this track, even though they know it very well. And they've won here last season, but they're still trying to get an extra bit of pace. They might need to see what will happen, of course, since we still have plenty of racing to go through tomorrow as well. And this is where, at the later stages of each category, that the hierarchy and the things start to come into play for real this time. So drivers are completing the last warm-up lap, making their way onto the start-finish straight. We're going to have McIntyre, Robinson on the front row. And we're going to be good to go.
We certainly are. Lights out, let's race. And it's a cracking start from McIntyre. A little bit of a twitch as he goes through first corner. Finn McLaughlin going straight through into second position. So a great start from the second row of the grid from him there, as he now plows in front of Leo Robinson. Fourth position. That looks like one of the VDK drivers that has fought his way through. I'm fairly sure that is the 26th that has made a cracking start. That is Clement Outram, who has gone straight up into fourth position. An absolutely epic start. 2 or 3 karts coming through. We've got an off further back on the field, a spin there at the back of the field, and that looks like Aidan Hassan, a very fed up and frustrated 54. Aidan Hassan, the young man from Milton Keynes in the United Kingdom, having spun off at turn 4. Whether he was forced there or whether that was his own mistake is unclear at this moment, but he is continuing at the back end of the field. So the race continues on up front. Will McIntyre, Leo Robinson, Finn McLaughlin, Kimi Abraham, no longer in that order, but they are still towards the sharp end of the field. Across the line, and it's going to be McIntyre from McLaughlin, but McLaughlin already looks like he's going to try and fire his move up the inside of McIntyre. He's not going to make the move early doors. So Finn McLaughlin just waiting for his moment on Will McIntyre, the race leader, who really needs to make this 2 wins out of 3 after his DNS in the earlier race. So Finn McLaughlin just wants to give himself the best possible chance of grabbing pole position, and to get past McIntyre would be the ultimate way to do that, but he needs to stretch away from the rest of the field first.
Yeah, there was a bit of a contact, I'm afraid, between the two leaders, McLaughlin and McIntyre, on the way to turn 4. It was very slight, but you can see that McLaughlin is on a charge, he's on a much better pace, as it seems, than the leader, and is pushing hard to try to find that bit of a gap, the space that he needs to dive through and take the lead and maybe pull away after that. But and a warning flag for Aidan Hassan, the 64 that we saw in trouble in the opening lap, so maybe for a dangerous maneuver or something like that, quite similar. We'll get back to that later, but at the moment the battle for the win is on, as McLaughlin is coming straight into the back of William McIntyre. Can he make it click? Yes, going around the inside of turn number 1. That was very tight indeed, but beautiful defensive mode activated by William McIntyre, who didn't let anything happen. He shut the door halfway through to the corner, and McLaughlin had no other choice but to back down and stay in second. That was brave. That was what Phil McLaughlin needs to do to get past. And the turn 1 is certainly one of the best places on track to do so. But McIntyre is no easy driver to overtake, that's for sure. And McLaughlin's going to have to do all over again and take another chance if he wants to get past at the end of lap number 3. Leo Robinson, my apologies, down in third for 1.1 second already. Clément Autran, my apologies, coming through in third place ahead of Robinson, with Kimi Abraham running up the top 5. But the driver is still very much battling for the lead, as McLaughlin has another shot at a possible overtaking maneuver around turn number 1. He was glued, and there he goes again around the inside, and there he goes. He goes through this time around, and let's see if William McIntyre will be able to fight back. It's not happening quite yet, but good move pulled together by Fionn McLaughlin. McIntyre dropping in second, still very much in the pace. Let's have a look at the last laps, 57.3, and as well as 57.3 for Fionn McLaughlin. But pretty much similar lap times from both drivers, and you can see that they're still very much tied together. But now it's down to McIntyre to try to relocate the Fionn McLaughlin from first one.
And this is obviously a very good opportunity for Finn McLaughlin too, the young man from Ireland who was obviously racing under a British licence. He is having an absolute spellbound race this weekend. In each of the 3 qualifying heats, he has been towards the sharp end. He's got a good chance of bagging pole position for the pre-final if things play out his way. So he's obviously got to keep himself in the best possible positions he can. So this will be a lightning opportunity for Finn McLaughlin to make big progress. Will McIntyre second, Clément Autran doing a stunning job in third position. A really good race for him in the VDK Kart Republic machine. Fourth place, Leo Robinson. Kimi Abraham still running well in P5 from Eric Genet, Alvan Elias, Sebastian Murray, Augustin Bernier, who has an exclusion to his name actually as well from earlier on in the race, and that was for outside assistance in the pit lane. So that is not good news from his point of view. He's got to try and maximise the rest of the results he can make up for in this race, the last one of the day for him. So a good chance for Clément Autran to close up on the leading duo, McLaughlin and McIntyre. Clément Autran still pushing very hard indeed, and this has been a real eye-opening opportunity for Clément Autran. He was of course in the minis last year, didn't really gel with that kart too often, but here in junior he has already clicked with it very early.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's on a pace, and he might want to go for second place, but McIntyre won't let that happen. Of course, Clément Autran fastest on track once again, 56.8. He's going to try to catch up with McIntyre in second, himself trying as well to get past your leader, Fionn McLaughlin. Those three within 0.8 of a second, not a lot, as watch out for Leo Robinson as well, actually, because he's catching up with Clément Autran from fourth place, 0.3 of a second between the Frenchman and Robinson in fourth. Kimi Abraham might want to try to get involved as well in the upper part of the mix, as he's sitting in fifth place, the young Belgian. Another top 5 finish is on the card for the demo kart driver, but for that he's going to have to try to get past the Robinson first, as the drivers are completing another lap. This is lap number 6. We're again getting near the checkered flag for what will be the penultimate qualifying race of the junior class. Will it go to Fionn McLaughlin? For that, he's going to have to keep it steady, keep the pace until the checkered flag is waved, as Kimi Abraham is confirming his determination in the last stages of this race with the fastest lap. Did it pay off? 1.2 seconds, 0.3 from Leo Robinson, and he might want to go for the win in the move, and there's a switch. Clément Autran is losing a position to Robinson in the meantime. Can Abraham try to go and dive through the gap? It's not happening quite yet for the young Belgian, but nice move from Robinson, stepping to third position, but Clément Autran is glued to the tail of the British driver in the hairpin, but he is not able quite yet to make his way through.
Well, Robinson has really timed this move to perfection, because we're halfway round the penultimate lap, and Autran is now in the clutches of Kimi Abraham. So from Robinson's point of view, this is exactly when he wanted to make the bid for third position, because now Autran is going to be in the clutches of Kimi Abraham as we head into the final lap. Finn McLaughlin in front of Will McIntyre as they come onto the home straight once again. McIntyre's got one last push on the final lap. Here we go, and he's going to look very hungry through turn 1, and that is going to be an opportunity for Finn McLaughlin to defend the position. Will McIntyre get his opportunity to get back into the lead of the race? It's not going to be easy to predict as the two drivers quest for position. Clément Autran has lost the place to Kimi Abraham, as we thought could potentially happen in this closing lap. Abraham now defending rapidly. McIntyre swarming around behind Finn McLaughlin as they come onto the far side of the course. Is this going to be a groundbreaking victory in junior for Finn McLaughlin in the IAME Euro Series 2021 season opener at Mariembourg on the Saturday of Thunder? It's always a very exciting day in the first opening race of the season, but now we're going to see if McIntyre has one final trick up his sleeve. A win will do. A second place is just about acceptable acceptable. He really didn't want to add more points to his score, but this is going to be an interesting race finish for Finn McLaughlin, and certainly a momentous one as Finn McLaughlin gets the victory he's been searching for since he came into junior at the start of this season. Finn McLaughlin hits the front and gets the checkered flag in front of Will McIntyre and Leo Robinson. Kimi Abraham doing a fine job in 4th position in front of Clement Outram, Ivan Arias and Eric Genet from Sebastian Murray, Arthur Poulain and Gabriel Stilp. Excellent job from Finn McLaughlin. That is exactly how he wanted to continue his weekend. And the young man from Ireland doing an absolutely sensational job. Races under a UK licence, but he is very proud of his roots, and you can see that in his absolutely gorgeous race helmet, inspired a little bit by his home country's colours, but also by Sebastian Vettel, the man he loves very dearly indeed to watch out in the Formula 1 circuit. We won't give him any spoilers as to how Seb is doing out in Bahrain, but I'm sure he'll be keeping an eye on that later this evening. Finn McLaughlin taking a brilliant victory for Fusion Motorsport, his first as a junior in 2021 in the IAME Euro Series. So Finn McLaughlin, an important win in front of Will McIntyre and Leo Robinson, Kimi Abraham and Clement Outram in the top 5.